Hello my little goobers, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Ray, or Bogo5, and today I'm finally reviewing the Copic Ciao, specifically set E and set C. These are both the 36 set, and these were both about $90 to $100 each. I bought them off of Amazon Prime, and they were pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than the sketch markers, which is why I bought them. But this is what they look like, each individually. Each set has the the type of set that it is, the logo, and then the numbers that it comes with. The cases seem pretty fancy and pretty bougie, but without further ado, let's get right on into the video. Okay, so let's have a look at set C. Here is what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna put that over here, this way it doesn't annoy me. Okay, so this is set C. It has 36 colors and it is very warm. A lot of the colors are very springy. There's lots of skin tones, as you will see later on in the video. I'll have both separate swatch sheets for them on the same page. But as you can see, there's lots of greens. A lot of these colors in the sketch reminded me of like spring or Easter or something pastel. I really liked them and they are very fun to use. And just for a note, I have been using the Copics, these two sets, for about 3 months now, and I will highly recommend them. But more of that later on in the video. But yeah, so these are what the Copics look like in set C. Let's look at the Copics in set E. Alright, here are the Copics in set E. And as you can see, these colors are a lot more neutral. There are a lot more darker colors, such as RV96, which is peony, I think that's how you say that one. And such as, it has a lot more darker browns, as I've come to notice, like this one, E79 Cashew. By the way, it's such a beautiful color. And name. I absolutely love the color names with Copic markers. Like, they're just so interesting and just so like weird. Like cherry white for R00, that's so pretty. Like, it just makes drawing so much more fun with like the cool names and stuff. But yeah, so this is what the Copic Ciao set E looks like. It's got, like before on the other set, it's got the numbers over here, the type of set that it is, and the brand logo. It's got, hold on, it's got, you know, lots of warm gray. It's got like nice gray colors, and then it's also got some pastels. And I absolutely love these two colors here specifically. I've used them almost to the point where they're dried. So I'm going to try using most of my like more rosier colors for this illustration for this video. But yeah, let's get on to the comparison and showing off the nibs, because I know that's what everybody's here for, is the nibs. Maybe for the chisel, because I don't know if the chisel nib on the Ciao and Sketch are different, but I know that these are typically smaller than most alcohol markers. I know they're much smaller than my Who, that's for sure, but let's get into that. Okay, so I have 3 markers to compare the Copic Ciaos to. One is a Ohuhu brush marker, a Winsor & Newton brush marker, and a Copic Sketch brush marker. And I'm not going to do any of my regular Ohuhus because there's like really no need to, because none of them have a brush marker. So I'm only going to compare to other marker brands that I have a brush marker for. But let's actually show off the actual Ciao, like the marker, before we show off to the, or compare, not show off, but compare to the other markers. But I'm just going to pick a random color. This is G07, and this is the color Nile Green. It looks more like I would call this leprechaun green, not Nile Green, but this is what the nib looks like. The I think it's a super brush nib. Yeah, super brush nib. That's what it looks like. This is the chisel nib. It's a lot smaller, as you'll see, than the Ohuhu, which is actually kind of surprising. It's called a medium broad chisel nib, and also, before I cap this back on, you can stack this way. You don't lose them or like lose the marker cap when you illustrate, which is really nice. And usually a lot of marker brands don't actually have that ability. I know Ohuhu, they recently added this feature on their new markers, but back then in the old days of Ohuhu markers did not have them in the second version of the markers, like, you know, like this. So yeah, that's what stacking is. Anyway, let's compare it to the other markers. Alright, so I'm going to move these two aside, and we're going to compare the Ohuhu and the I almost said classic Copic for a second. I had to stop myself, but so this is what it looks like when you stack both of them. I know that the sketch you cannot like stack it, so I'm not even gonna attempt to do that with it when I do it next, but this is what they both look like. I noticed that they actually both have round barrels. I've also come to notice that the brush nib on the Ohuhu is a lot more triangular, and the Ciao's nib is a lot more like rounded, especially when it comes up to the top, which is probably much more like, that means it's probably like a lot more flexible. It won't fray as much, it's not as brittle, and these ones are a lot more brittle, so these ones are usually a lot better quality. This is what I'm gonna like show you guys about, which is the nibs, or the chisel nib. It's a lot, there's like a huge difference when it comes to the chisel nibs, because like the Ohuhu is like drastically bigger, and the Copic Ciao is just a medium chisel nib. It's not a broad like the Ohuhu, but yeah, those are the chisel nibs. And here is the same with the sketch. I'm not even gonna stack, because again, the sketch can't stack, which is actually kind of surprising. I thought it would actually stack because, you know, the caps are the same size, but that's kind of interesting. But this is what they look like. The Ciao has a lot less ink in it, and the sketch has a lot more ink in it, which means that the sketch is a lot more expensiver than the Ciao. So if you definitely want a much more cheaper Copic marker, I would definitely recommend the Ciao, because it's just a lot easier to afford, you know, replacing a marker and just the general sets in general. A lot of the sets that I've seen there are under $200. So it's definitely a lot cheaper than buying a 72 sketch set. And plus there's more sketch sets, so there's even more you have to add to your collection. There's a lot less when it comes to the Ciao, so it's a lot more. You're getting a lot more like bang for your buck if you're trying to like budget on Copics, so yeah. And here's, I think the nibs might be the same, or the chisel nibs. Oh wow, I actually didn't realize that until now. I think they're actually the same. I didn't actually know that. Interesting. I always thought that the chisel nib on the sketches would be like the Ohuhu ones, where they're like a lot more bigger, because it's a sketch marker and, you know, it's got a lot more ink, so I thought the nibs would be bigger, but I guess it's not. That's kind of interesting. And here is with the Winsor & Newton. Hold on. There we go. I think actually of any of the marker brands out there, the Winsor & Newton I think actually has the closest like nib to the Copics that I've seen so far. I think besides Art & Fly. I've seen that in other art reviews that other artists have done on YouTube, the Art & Fly markers look like the brush nibs and stuff look a lot more similar to Copic than other, like, you know, brush markers. Like the Ohuhu, it looks completely different. So yeah. And I apologize if this one is absolutely like destroyed. I've had this for quite a while, because I once thought it was a paint marker and it wasn't until I brought it home. But yeah, so that's what the chisel nib looks like. And that is what the chisel nib on the Ciao looks like compared to the, I almost said Copic. Compared to the Winsor & Newton. I'll have to get myself some more Winsor & Newtons. I actually really like them. But yeah, let's get on to the sketching and my like more general thoughts, and also my swatching, which I'll be doing on my sketchbook paper, which is my Denex sketchbook paper, which by the way, I feel like literally completely like overhauled all of my like art supplies and like art stuff. Like all the things I've drawn out are on just Denex sketchbook paper, because it just, I don't know why, like it feels so nice, it's so smooth. I swear I'm not sponsored by them, but I just really like the feel of Denex more than Mixed Media or like the Canton, which is so sad to say because I love Canton, but yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the rest of the sketching and the swatching. Alrighty, now that we've talked about the product itself and what's contained in the product and the markers, and, you know, looking at everything and comparing the brush nibs, let's talk about the pros and the cons about this product. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the pros, then I'm going to get to the cons. But the very first pro is that both of these sets have a very balanced color range. Despite only having 36 like markers in each of the case, they do have a lot of nice colors, which I really like. The markers have a really good brush nib, a really great medium chisel nib. The color name is listed on the barrel of the marker, which most markers don't usually have, so I really appreciate that as well. The Copic Ciaos are slightly cheaper than the Copic Sketch, but still, you know, pretty expensive, but, you know, it's definitely cheaper than other Copics. The brand provides nib replacements, ink refills, and open stock on individual markers. The caps are completely colored to represent the marker that's inside the ink. The nibs are high quality and the ink blends smoothly. These markers work wonderful with other art supplies such as Prismacolor colored pencils, Jelly Roll pens, other markers, and fine liners. These are very great for professional artists. I highly recommend them if you're using them for illustration, comics, you know, design, fashion, really anything. These are great for that. They come in a very, very sturdy and well-built marker case, which I really appreciate when it comes to shipping. And lastly, these colors layer wonderful and they work best on mixed media paper and on marker paper. Now onto the cons, which there aren't a whole lot of them, but I still want to cover them. But the very first con is that the markers, even though slightly cheaper than the Copic sketch markers, they are still pretty expensive when compared to other cheaper markers like Ohuhu, Artix, Arteza, Chromolite. Really, they're just up there in the price range. They're like gonna cost you an arm and a leg, pretty much. And the other thing is that you can only find these markers at Hobby Lobby, Michaels, Blick Art, Copic Shop, like the online shop for Copic markers, Amazon, and other online stores. You can't really find these markers in like Walmart or Target, which really sucks because like a lot of people, either if you live in the rural area or, you know, in certain places where they don't even have a Hobby Lobby or Michaels, you won't really be able to find them unless if you order them online. So that's usually these are usually the downside to when buying or owning Copics. But other than that, everything else is fine. It for the rest of the video. If you guys really like this video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below on what you guys' thoughts on these markers, and would you buy them, yes or no, or would you just buy cheaper brands like Ohuhu or Arteza? Make sure to click the notification bell and make sure to subscribe to my art channel because it really means a lot, because it really helps out small creators like me. Make sure to go follow me on social media. My name is Bulgro5, both on Instagram and on DA. If you guys would like to help me financially, I will leave links down to my PayPal if you would like to donate. With that being said, you guys, please guys, go check out any of my other videos, and have an amazing day, and keep on drawing. Bye!